Hey, I'm Jabril and welcome to Crash Course AI. Say I want to get a cookie from a jar that's on a tall shelf. There isn't one right way to get the cookies. Maybe I find a ladder, or use a lasso, or build a complicated system of pulleys. These could all be brilliant or terrible ideas. But if something works, I get the sweet taste of victory, and I learned that doing the same thing could get me another cookie in the future. We learned lots of things by trial and error, and this kind of learning by doing to achieve complicated goals is called reinforcement learning. So far, we've talked about two types of learning in Crash Course AI. Supervised learning, where a teacher gives an AI answers to learn from, and unsupervised learning, where an AI tries to find patterns in the world. Reinforcement learning is particularly useful for situations where we want to train AIs to have certain skills we don't fully understand ourselves. For example, I'm pretty good at walking, but trying to explain the process of walking is kind of difficult. What angle should your femur be relative to your foot? And should you move it with the average angular velocity of... Yeah, never mind. It's really difficult. With reinforcement learning, we can train AIs to perform complicated tasks. But unlike other techniques, we only have to tell them at the very end of the task if they succeeded, and then ask them to tell us how well they did. We're gonna focus on this general case, but sometimes this feedback could come earlier. So, if we want an AI to learn to walk, we give them a reward if they're both standing up and moving forward, and then figure out what steps they took to get to that point. The longer the AI stands up and moves forward, the longer it's walking, and the more reward it gets. So you can kind of see how the key to reinforcement learning is just trial and error over and over again. For humans, a reward might be a cookie or the joy of winning a board game. But for an AI system, a reward is just a small positive signal that basically tells it, good job, and do that again. Google DeepMind got some pretty impressive results when they used reinforcement learning to teach virtual AI systems to walk, jump, and even duck under obstacles. It looks kinda silly, but works pretty well. Other researchers have even helped real-life robots learn to walk. Seeing the end result is pretty fun. It can help us understand the goals of reinforcement learning. But to really understand how reinforcement learning works, we have to learn new language to talk about these AI and what they're doing. Similar to previous episodes, we have an AI, or agent, that is our loyal subject that's going to learn. An agent makes predictions or performs actions, like moving a tiny bit forward or picking the next best move in a game. And it performs actions based on its current inputs, which we call the state.